lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
No, it's not Wednesday. It's not Wednesday. We missed the show on Wednesday. You didn't do it.
Must
not
be
Wednesday.
I called it hump day.
It's not hump day. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Throwback Thursday is what it is. Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. And, you know, today we are going to roll out some of the best cartoon theme music ever recorded. At least that's the plan. I mean, look, we'll take requests. If you want to make a request, just hit the text window, make a request. If you want to fire them in, go ahead. I'm pretty sure that Scooby-Doo is in there. The Flintstones is probably in there. Maybe the Fat Albert is in there. I mean, I don't have any idea what else. Johnny Quest? Who knows? I don't know. I don't even know if they still have Saturday morning cartoons anymore. Do they have cartoons? I mean, because you got Cartoon Network and you got this and that. I mean, do they even have Saturday morning cartoons anymore? Are they like all reruns? Are they new cartoons? Are there new cartoons that we never heard of before? I don't know. Is it all CGI now? Do they actually have like real cartoons, or is it all CGI? And do they even have theme songs anymore? I don't know. All I know is when the Flintstones was on, the Flintstones had a theme song. Well, our long national nightmare is finally over. We know the conference opponents for the SEC in 2024. And as Paul Feinbaum said last night, this is truly one of the most exciting things ever to happen in the SEC. I think he was serious, too. One thing is for sure. Seeing Texas and Oklahoma on everyone's schedule and seeing their schedules really drove home the point that this is real. That Texas and I tell you what, because I remember exactly where I was when I heard this news 2 years ago at SEC Media Days on the third day of SEC Media Days that Texas and Oklahoma were coming to the SEC. It was stunning. It floored us. Seeing the schedules now all of a sudden makes Texas and Oklahoma feel like SEC teams. Now it feels real. It really does. I will say that. You know, seeing that Oklahoma will host Alabama and they'll go to Auburn, and I'm like, this is really happening. I mean, Texas A&M, you know, those kind of games, that doesn't make it feel like that. Georgia's going to Texas. You know, that makes it feel like SEC. The games that they're playing in the old, Southwest Conference, Arkansas and Texas, those things don't make you feel like them playing like real SEC teams. That made it feel, Tennessee at Oklahoma, Josh Heupel going back to Oklahoma, where he almost won the Heisman Trophy, where he won the national championship, taking his Tennessee Vols in there. And wait till you see Texas and Oklahoma's schedules compared to this year's schedule of Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, it's a different thing. It is a different thing. There's no doubt about it. The other thing is, as long as there are great non-conference matchups and everyone has those on their schedule, like Georgia playing at Clemson and Alabama playing at Wisconsin, that's all in 2024. And we're rotating the entire league through. I'm not so sure that 8 or 9 is that big a deal anymore. I'm really not. You look at it. Nobody else in the country has 8 like this. They really don't. But you have to be playing, if you were doing 8, you'd have to play 2 Power 5, whatever's left of the Power 5. You'd have to play 2 teams that are at least, old Power 5 type teams. Just because Central Florida goes into the Big 12 does not make them a Power 5 team. You know what I mean? They're in what was a Power 5 conference. Cincinnati being in a Power 5, a former Power 5 conference doesn't necessarily make Cincinnati feel like a Power 5 team. You know what I mean? There's the Power 2. We're going to have to come up with another word. There's the Power 2, those other 3, because they're not really group. They're not quite group of 5. Are they group of 8? We can't call them group of 8, can we? I mean, there's still, the ACC still has Clemson and Florida State and Miami, North Carolina, Pitt. There's something else. We need a name for the middle 3. We got group of 2. We got Power 2. We got group of 5. And then you got the middle 3. I don't know what to call them. We need to come up with a name for them. And while I am a fan of trying to balance the schedules as best as possible based on teams' winning percentage over the past 10 years, I'm not sure that that's the way to do it. Everybody got 2 teams that had a top winning record and 2 teams that had a bottom winning record from over the last 10 years. That's part of this deal. I don't know how relevant that is, but since they did that here, it makes me believe that the 3 permanent rival model may be dead for sure for all times. It may be, to be honest, it may be dead. And to be honest with you, I'm good with it. I like preserving the 10 or 11 games that have to be played. I like what the Big Ten did. You preserve those 10 and 11 games that have to be played and just roll with everybody else. And the 10 or 11 games, however many you think that need to be there, are there. I'll run them down, but they're there for 2024. Every one of those games that we felt like, Auburn and Georgia and Alabama and Tennessee and all the games that got a name, those games are all there, my friends. After that, some schedules got tougher. I mean, Alabama replaces Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, and Arkansas with Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri, and Vandy. And I don't know what Oklahoma looks like in 2024. I really don't. I don't know what they look like. Some schedules got easier. Maybe LSU's is a little easier. Georgia's is brutal. Coming off a cupcake schedule this upcoming fall, the Dogs will head to Texas and Alabama while losing Missouri and Vandy from their schedule. Joe Gaither from BamaCentral.com is coming up in a few minutes to talk about the schedule. Auburn is the only team in the SEC that will visit Tuscaloosa and Athens. They're the only team that goes at Alabama and at Georgia. But you know what? They're going to do that anyway. They do that every other year anyway. Like Alabama, Arkansas, and the 2 Mississippi schools are gone. Replaced by Missouri and Vandy, and a visit from the Sooners. Now, Auburn and Oklahoma have played twice in their history, 1972 and 2017 Sugar Bowls, and both of those were big wins for the Sooners. Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer coming up in the second hour with his thoughts on Auburn's schedule. Now, the U.S. Open is underway at Los Angeles Country Club, someplace that is a total mystery to golf fans. The place is all kinds of quirky, man. They got 5 par 3s and 2 par 5s. 1 par 3 can play as long as 295 yards. Why do we have 295-yard par 3? Another par 3 can play as short as 78 yards. Now, it's listed at 125, but it has a tee that's 78 yards. Got wide open fairways, Bermuda rough. It's in downtown L.A. I mean, it's like right in Beverly Hills. It's an interesting looking course. It's something we've never seen this place before, so we don't know. The first time in 75 years that the U.S. Open has been played in Los Angeles. The last time it was played at Riviera. The coolest thing with these California Opens is that we'll get primetime golf. I mean, primetime golf. We got golf until 10 o'clock tonight through Saturday. 10 o'clock. And then Sunday, Championship Sunday, Father's Day, they'll be golf until 9 on Sunday. My wife has asked me multiple times what I want for Father's Day. She keeps saying, what do you want for Father's Day? What do you want for Father's Day? She wants to give me tools, something. But I don't want any more tools. Tools mean more work. I don't need any more tools. You know what I told? I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her, look, for Father's Day, save your money. I want, without guilt, to watch the U.S. Open Saturday night and Sunday night. That's what I want, without guilt. That's what I want to do. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. Text the show anytime, 24/7 at 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there. On Facebook at 97.7 ESPN, Twitch and YouTube, WZZN TV. Follow on Twitch, like and subscribe on YouTube. Find all of that stuff at 97.7ESPN.com. And get our apps. You need to get the apps. All right, over there in a little glass room with the slanted ceiling, playing the platters that matter, the stacks of wax, answering the phones, keeping us on the air. Still waiting for Ronald Acuna's home run to center field to come down.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
How about a little sweepage in Detroit of the doubleheader and 465 high off the center field eye black there or whatever they call that thing for Ronald Acuna. What a shot that was!
Absolute stud. Your NL MVP leader pretty much. I mean, you could just like halfway through the season. I mean, I don't understand why. We could just end it now and just vote him MVP. I mean, Ronald Acuna's been an
if you
stud.
did that, it would be like when Freddie Freeman won it in 2020, and it would only be 60 games, so you don't know. I mean, this dude could be hurt in a week.
I mean, it was
I'm not wishing that upon him. I'm just saying, that's the.
It was fun to watch the sweep, but the 2-day sweep or the 2-game sweep, but it was also kind of like, it kind of felt weird because the way that the bullpen was playing and in that second game,
I thought you were saying because it was Detroit.
But that too. I mean, you kind of expected it, but when they came back, you're up. The Braves are up 5-1 in the first game. They just absolutely the bullpen just implodes on themselves. And then the second and third game, they kind of do that as well, but they have a comfortable 5 run lead. That both times you kind of you get a little queasy, and especially when AJ Minter's out there, you're definitely a little queasy. So, yeah, no, but I think I'm a little queasy because
it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be worse. I'll be totally honest with you. It could be worse. You could be the Mets.
Yeah, you could be the Mets.
You want to talk about an absolute freaking grease fire. It's the New York Mets. Now, I know they came back and they won that game last night in the extra innings, and there's no doubt that if Aaron Judge was in the game that he would have made the catch on that Nimmo ball that, there was a double at the end that plated the guy, the ghost runner from second base. And I get all of that. But let me tell you something. That Mets team, this is the first time I really spent 2 nights just watching the Mets from beginning to end. And they are so dysfunctional and so discombobulated. I'm going to be honest with you. I like Buck Showalter. I've always been a Buck Showalter fan. He needs to go. I mean, Buck Showalter needs to be fired. Grizz, they were making mistakes all over the place. And then, did you see that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, this was a game on ESPN last night.
I didn't watch it.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa on a straight steal of home because nobody was looking at him, and he starts walking down. You go back and look at Isaiah Kiner-Falefa steals home. He walks down the third base line. The pitcher a left-handed pitcher, he never looks over his shoulder at Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. So Kiner-Falefa keeps going. Nobody from the dugout, not Buck Showalter, nobody in the infield, the third baseman, nobody is saying, hey, he's going, or anything. Kiner-Falefa just goes ahead and takes off and steals home. I mean, Buck Showalter should have been fired at that moment in time. When Kiner-Falefa stole home, The Mets ownership should have called the dugout and said, you know what, Buck? Your team's not ready to play. It's just not ready to play.
Yeah, no, I'm watching it now. I'm having like slow internet today, apparently. So.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't know how you sleep on a play like that. That was like when Ronald Acuna stole third. I mean, if you're sleeping, guys are going to go.
Stealing third is one thing. Stealing home? I mean, stealing home?
I can see it where the guys are leading into it, and then the catcher can't react, and then you have a guy that's batting. He's batting right there in front of the catcher. So, I mean, I can kind of see that happening because that has been – what's weird is how that's been happening these last couple of years in the MLB. It's like you're supposed to be professional athletes, and you're not paying attention to what's going on around you.
Back in the day when they had to shift on, it's one thing. But they didn't have to have third baseman. I mean, is anybody running their mouth? I mean, it's just ridiculous. All right, let me get – I tell you what, though, what an atmosphere. It was like an SEC football atmosphere there at City Yankee Stadium. I'm going to call that City Field at Yankee Stadium because there was definitely more Yankee fans there than Mets fans
Chipper
there.
Jones, Chipper Jones
they just
home.
went in there and took it over. Yankee fan just took over City. We're going to call that City Yankee Stadium. We saw that Yankee Stadium North. Is Queens north of the Bronx? I think Queens is north of the Bronx.
They call that Larry Wayne's house.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Let me go to the lines. By the way, the Philip sent me a text after the first game that he's burning all of his Mets gear. Philip, what's going on? Did you burn that gear yet?
Nemo was safe, dude.
Doubt.
You're drunk on the Yankees.
He was out. He was out. They called him out. They looked at it, and he's still out.
Wasn't safe. You're drunk on the Yankees.
They looked at it, and he's still out. They even did a review, and he's still out. He's out.
Well, that's because the review system sucks. They won't own up. It's like cops. Like when cops do something stupid, and they go, "Oh, well, he's a cop, so yeah, let's justify it." He was safe, dude. They showed it. The freaking crew even said he's safe. He's safe. There's no doubt about it. He's safe. And then what they do? Oh no, play stands. He's out. That's bullcrap. Why have it?
He was out.
Safe.
Aaron Judge catches that ball, by the way, and you're still playing.
Whatever.
What I don't understand is why these teams don't simply bunt in overtime when you get to the 10th inning and you got a ghost runner on second. Why in God's name aren't you just bunting that guy over and getting him in with a fly ball? I don't understand it. You should always be able to score a run. With a guy on second and nobody out, you should be able to bunt him over and sack him in and always get a run.
Well, I can answer that for you. We've gone to your American League way of playing, where all nine players are up there to do one thing: hit a home run. You've taken the National League small ball out of the game. That's what Major League Baseball has become. That's why.
Yeah.
Y'all don't do that in the American League. What are you talking about, dude? That's y'all's problem. That's y'all's fault.
There ain't no more American in there. There ain't no more American in National League.
Created.
There is no more American in National League. You know it.
Oh, I know, because it's all going to American League. Your style of playing. And when I say your, I mean your teams that, your skankies, that American League Baseball, that's what y'all do. You don't know how to bunt. You don't know how to, you know how to steal home. I saw that happen. But
that guy should have been fired right then and there. They shouldn't even have let him go back in and have the spread. They should have told him to get dressed, go take a shower, get your gear on, and leave the stadium. We don't want you here.
I agree.
That's his fault.
100%. But I've been saying that since last year. I've been saying that. I'm blowing up things on, sites and whatever. Buck Showalter has got to go. He sucks. He's the Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys, is what he is. He says all the right crap, but at the end of the day, when it comes time to get something done, he does nothing. How he didn't lose his freaking mind over Nemo being called out after that replay is beyond me.
Well, because he knew he was out.
How
But
do you do that?
because he knew he was out. Did you hear what he said after the game, though? They asked him about about all the sloppy play and the mistakes and everything. This is Buck Showalter's quote after the game. He said, quote, "We scored more runs than they did over the course of the game. It was a big win for us." Close quote. Yeah, go ahead, Buck. Go lose the next 8 in a row, too.
What a champion we have there. Oh, my goodness. Put that dude in the suit and the tie. Put him back in. He does not belong in the dugout coaching a Major League game. The dude sucks. He's done nothing. Stop me if I'm wrong. Stop me if I'm wrong. Tell me what Showalter has accomplished as a Major League manager.
He is.
I'll tell you, 0.
You know what he is? I hate to say this.
Zero.
I hope he's not listening because he's a friend. I hate to say this, but you know what he is? He's Jeff Fisher. He gets you to 500. He's never terrible, never great. He's Jeff Fisher. I'm telling you.
But that stung.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. Yeah, exactly. He's Jeff Fisher.
He's
He's
Jeff
the
Fisher.
field goal kicker, dude.
Yeah.
That's Jeff Fisher right there.
He's Jeff Fisher.
That's what he is. His
All right,
biggest claim
Jason
to
Garrett.
fame.
Let me get. He's Jason Garrett.
Too many years removed.
Grizz just said he's Jason Garrett.
Might be McCarthy. Might worse.
No, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl. I'm saying that about Mike McCarthy. All right, listen.
His biggest claim to fame.
Philip, I love you. And let me get Wolverine Dan in here too because I got a lot of interviews today on the show. I want to get him in here. That's a good job by Philip. They split.
Michigan, go blue.
They split. What can he do? Wolverine Dan, welcome in. How are you?
Yeah, let me pick my 3 golfers, okay?
We're not doing 3 golfers. Tomorrow. We're gonna do a Friday trifecta tomorrow that includes who's gonna win the golf tournament.
Okay, so
we're not doing 3 golfers. So this way you get to watch today and tomorrow morning and get a feel for how they're playing. And then tomorrow we're gonna actually do a Friday trifecta that is going to involve that. It's going to involve who's going to win the College Baseball World Series. And it's gonna be like the SEC or the field, and it's going to and I might put something else in there.
Yeah, tell them, Don Pardo, what will you win?
Yeah, well, you win golf at Cherokee Ridge, which, by the way, was on deals this morning and sold out in minutes.
My wife picked up one.
Did she? Good for her.
I was on the Arsenal, dude. You know,
good. I'm glad she got one.
Blows my mind. The front nine I shoot a 40. And then the back nine, I shoot a 48. I blew on the last 3 holes. I got an 8 on a par 3.
Yeah, but that's good playing. 88 at the end of the day is good. Even out there on the Arsenal, which is kind of, wide open.
Yeah, but,
that's still good playing. 88's good.
Larry dropped some big coin and got the Titleist 300s.
This is pretty funny. Grumpy says that the Phillip needs a bitch clock. And
we
play like
roll and a cup of coffee.
Well, wait a minute. You might need a bitch clock, too. We have a bitch clock, and we have like a ticking stopwatch in the background, and then the clock runs out, like the final 10 seconds or something counts down. And it's like, we use it for everybody.
All right. So before it runs out real quick, I'm going to do this real fast because we didn't talk about it yesterday, of course.
Yeah.
You had the baseball game. How about those Las Vegas Golden Knights? Wow. Anytime you score 9 goals in a Stanley Cup, Tom, that is an offensive juggernaut. I mean, unbelievable. This team. I mean,
yeah, but be honest with me now.
But the Predators couldn't do it in 21.
Be honest with me now. How much of that Stanley Cup final did you watch? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I watched about 5 minutes of it. In fact, I think that Stanley Cup final and NBA final were the worst 2 finals, at the same time since ever.
Yeah, well,
ever.
The basketball sucked, okay, but I like that Yugoslavian dude. I like him.
I know, but did you? I liked him too. But I didn't watch it.
Good. My wife
did you watch it?
I watched a bunch of it.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
Yeah, and then my little granddaughter, she likes hockey. When it's on TV, she goes, hockey? Oh, she loves hockey.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
With that said, Philip, have a cigarette, a Marlboro, and a large cup of coffee, and maybe a little creamer, and chill out, dude.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right. Now, I think it needs to be an actual ticking clock. We need to be able to find a
wrap
ticking
it
clock.
up, B. Steve
yeah,
knows
like
what
a
I'm talking
ticking
about.
clock sound where the clock is ticking. Bitch clock. We call it the bitch clock. I love that.
Like
I'm
a shot
stealing
clock
it.
geting counted down.
No, like the pitch clock.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the bitch. So it's the bitch clock, and we have the bitch clock, and it counts, but it's got to be like you're hearing a loud ticking sound. It's got to be loud, okay? Because we can barely hear that. A loud ticking sound.
I wouldn't want to try to play it loud.
Like 10 or 15 seconds of it, and then at the end of it, at the end of the at the bitch clock, you get the and then they're done.
We're gonna set that up nice.
I could set that up. I can play that from here. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, did you text Joe Gaither yet and tell him that I'm late, as usual? Joe Gaither will join us, BamaCentral.com. Talking schedule next. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Cheeseburger Bobby's on Carl T. Jones Drive in Huntsville is the perfect place to celebrate Father's Day this year. Featuring classic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with lots of specialty options, chicken and hot dogs, even turkey burgers and veggie burgers, along with fresh cut fries, onion rings, or coleslaw. Always fresh, never frozen, except for the frozen custard. This week, our zone deal is $50 worth of Cheeseburger Bobby's for half price, just $25. Get yours Friday at 97.7ESPN.com.
Suffering from emotional pain and mental health conditions, Intensive Outpatient Programs, or IOP, is a rich addition to your continued individual therapy. Group members realize they're not alone and that others have similar difficulties. Hearing and sharing different ways to think and cope can be encouraging, empowering, and promote healing. In most cases, treatment is covered by insurance and no doctor referral is needed. Virtual IOP sessions available. Take your first step to wellness by calling 205-999-5247 or log on iopservicesllc.com.
Your
Trash Pandas return to the Rocket City Tuesday, June 20th for another 6-game homestand at Toyota Field. Promotions include a Trash Pandas Garden Gnome giveaway on Tuesday, Marvel Defenders of the Diamond Night on Thursday, and of course fireworks close out the evening on both Friday and Saturday. Reserve your seats now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
This is Mike Greenberg. You're listening to 97.7 ESPN The Zone, your home of ESPN Radio, the Alabama Crimson Tide, Atlanta Braves baseball, Huntsville Havoc hockey, and the UAH Chargers.
It's going to be interesting to see how many of these I can get on Throwback Thursday. Because I didn't really watch a lot of cartoons as a kid. So we're using cartoon music for Throwback Thursday today. Which one is that, Grizz? It sounds familiar.
It's in the name. It's in
what?
they're singing his name.
Who? Oh, Gadget guy. Go Gadget, go.
Gadget.
Inspector Gadget, yeah. Now,
There
see,
it
I think he came along after my time.
This was I mean I picked all 80s themes, so I went with all
you went
80s cartoons.
80s? Oh, you went modern.
I went
You
all
went
80s
modern.
cartoon.
Yo, you went modern. Well, how could you? Because if I don't hear the Flintstones in the Fat
no.
Albert,
There's 70s through 80s. It's 70s through 80s.
That's
It's
70s.
Yeah. No,
I
there's.
don't hear the Flintstones and Fat Albert.
I mean,
and
there's some Fat
Scooby-Doo.
Albert, Jetsons,
I'm gonna reach through
Scooby-Doo.
the glass and smack you in the head.
I mean, I thought about Jetsons. I mean, I went all the way
Oh,
back.
Jetsons is good. Yeah.
It's not animated, and it probably won't make the rotation. But Fraggle Rock got recorded anyway because that's
no
just,
Fraggle Rock.
It's not in there, but it's
not, yeah.
it was there at one time. So
No big furry things. That doesn't work. All right, joining us now from BamaCentral.com. A guy does a great job with his podcast as well. I think it's called The Joe Gather Show, but he joins us now, Joe Gather, on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Joe, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great today, and I think that was a perfect theme because wasn't the villain in Inspector Gadget always having a cat sitting on his lap? My cat sitting right on the lap as I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, see, this is that Inspector Gadget is like that's like modern for me. I mean, Inspector Gadget would be modern days for me. But is that what you call your show, by the way, the Joe Gaither Show?
Yes, sir. The Joe Gaither Show. We're on BamaCentral.com. We're on their YouTube page, and I'm on Facebook and Twitter every day at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be talking to Christian Miller today, so I'm really excited about that. And we're only a couple of weeks into that. But, yeah, thank you so much for having me, Tom. I appreciate it.
Well, that's good. And they can find it at BamaCentral.com. And is it on YouTube and things like that, too?
Yes, sir, exactly. And Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere where they get their podcast, they can find it. Yes, sir.
All right. Good stuff there. All right, so this schedule comes out. I'm a Paul Feinbaum guy. You know, he and I are friends. But he said last night it was one of the most exciting things to ever happen in the SEC. Would you agree? I mean, you're a younger guy, but would you like this is one of the most exciting things ever, you know? But it did feel real when you started seeing Texas and Oklahoma on SEC schedules. It did kind of finally feel like, yeah, these guys are in the league.
Well, Tom, first off, no, not one of the most exciting things to ever have one exciting night in the league. But it was more exciting than the typical schedule reveal. I mean, you always are getting, we know who we're going to play out now. No, it was exciting considering all the debate, depending on the three permanent opponents and how they're going to divvy up the other five opponents. So it was really, I mean, I think the SEC did a great job last night. I'm looking across all the schedules, and I'm saying, oh, boy, I got to keep my job so I can be involved in this Alabama schedule in 2024 because it finally it's starting to get to the place where I like it. We're getting rid of the Austin Peas. We're getting rid of the Cupcake U's, and we're starting to play some real football. It reminds me of the 2020 schedule, even though it was a COVID year. That was a great schedule for all SEC opponents. I'm super excited. I don't want to skip 2023, but 24 looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they will get rid of all of the cupcakes, because you could still have 2 cupcakes in this deal here. I mean, Alabama, of course, is going to start at Wisconsin, but they still kept a couple other teams in there that are not, I don't consider South Florida necessarily cupcake material. It's a game they're going to be favored by 20 or more, but still, that happens sometimes in some SEC games. But on Alabama's schedule, so they lose Mississippi State and Ole Miss and Arkansas. And, and in their place, they're gaining Georgia, the Oklahoma game, but they also have Missouri and Vanderbilt in there. So it was almost like they really did a great job, I think, trying to balance these things out based on what teams have done historically over the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, I think the Greg Sankey and his committee. I mean, they had a terribly hard job because everybody's going to be thinking, "Oh, we got the short end of the stick." Yeah, Alabama. Nick Saban complaining for the last few weeks about Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU being the permanent opponents for the Tide, but really there wasn't. There weren't too many other great options. You could have gone with Mississippi State if you wanted to. You're not going to play Mississippi State for the first time since 1947. That's going to be a little bit weird, especially considering their proximity to right here in Tuscaloosa. But it's going to be a lot of fun to have South Carolina come back into town for the first time since 2009, and Missouri was here with Drew Lock, so that'll be nice. I'm really looking forward to, Tom, divisionless football, because I think that it's going to take a while for us to eliminate SEC East versus SEC West from our brains. Right. But I think once that happens, we're really just going to enjoy a highly competitive SEC.
I thought they would just, for 24, I thought even though we were going without divisions, that they were going to just dump the crossover rotating game. In other words, I thought they'd lose the South Carolina game and they would add an Oklahoma game because they weren't going to get Texas because they're playing Texas, back-to-back years, so they weren't going to get them. We knew that was going to happen, so I knew they'd play Oklahoma. I thought Oklahoma would go to Tuscaloosa in place of South Carolina. But you're right. They gave us complete divisionless, get it out of your brain, make it go away. They're playing, what are they playing? 1, 2, 3, 4 teams from the East. They're basically playing 4 from the East, 3 from the old West, and then Oklahoma, which would have been in the West. So they did completely tear this thing apart and start over again. And look, they said to Alabama, look, you're still going to play your Auburn, LSU, and Tennessee. And by the way, we're going to throw you Georgia. And take a trip over to Oklahoma while you're at it. So it did get more difficult to a certain extent. It got more difficult. I don't think that the LSU thing will stay going forward. And I also think based on what they did here, I think that the 3 permanent deal, the 3-6, maybe coming in 25 or 26, I think that's out the door. I think they may lean more towards what we saw out of the Big Ten. Give me the 10 or 11 games we have to have in the SEC, and then everything else gets thrown away. And I don't think Alabama LSU is a have-to-have, to be honest with you.
Oh, really? Even though it's been the leader, it's basically garnered the most views over the last since Nick Saban's been in Tuscaloosa every year. It's
I think Tennessee
game.
I think Tennessee is the must-have. I think Alabama, obviously the Iron Bowl. And then I think the Tennessee game, I think that's the must-have. If you're telling me you're playing LSU every other year, I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Historically speaking, I agree with you. But I think when you play with the money, is going to drive everything. And when you look at the revenue, the Alabama LSU, the ratings that have come in on CBS for the last 10 years, I think they're going to have a hard time getting rid of that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they do totally get rid of it. The Missouri game will be in Tuscaloosa.
Do you think that Alabama got a bad deal? Do you think Alabama got Georgia and Oklahoma thrown onto its schedule out of a little spite?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because I think Georgia got a grind too. I think in a way, look, I always thought 2024 was going to be a bear. 2024 was going to be tough no matter what because you're going at Wisconsin, and I pray that they're not going to change that. Yeah, I hope they don't come back and say, well, now that we have this and we're going to Oklahoma, we're not going to Wisconsin. I hope they don't do something stupid like that. But they were always going at Wisconsin. They were always going at LSU. They were always going at Tennessee. They're always going to have Auburn on there anyway. I thought that schedule was really, really tough anyway. And yes, you get Georgia in, but that's also a problem for Georgia, because it's in Tuscaloosa. I think this is going to be a real litmus test as to what a potential 10-2, 9-3 SEC team and how they will be treated by the playoff committee. Because when you look at Georgia's schedule too, I mean, that was a meat grinder. Because remember, they got a game at Clemson already on that schedule. So assuming that they keep that game, they've got at Alabama, at Texas. I think Texas is on to come. Play Tennessee at home. Florida at the cocktail party. Georgia coming off a cupcake schedule in 23. That's a grinder for them in 24.
Yeah, I mean, last night a lot of the fan bases played the card. We got the toughest draw card, but I think you laid it out. Georgia can play it. Alabama can play it. I think really even Texas and Oklahoma can play it as well. So Auburn has the only school in the conference that has to go to Alabama and to Georgia. So there's no easy roads here. You said it exactly right, that it's going to be a bear, and I think that's what makes it so much more intriguing and kind of so much similar to the 2020 COVID year where you're playing the all SEC schedule. It's going to be really interesting to see how the playoff committee does respond to the SEC, because with 12 open slots, you're assuming the SEC champ gets in, and you're probably assuming the runner-up gets in as well. But with you're probably going to have 3 or 4 losses hanging around. But they play quality schedules. Do they get in at the 6, 8, 12 spot? How many teams can the SEC get in? 24 looks so much fun.
Yeah, it does. It does make me wonder about the championship game, though, because what Kirby Smart said kind of rings true. It's like, do I even want to play in this championship game? I mean, right now, if another team or two from the SEC is sitting home that weekend, why do I need to have if I'm Alabama or Georgia and we're going to play in the SEC championship game, now we lose a week of prep for the playoff. We know we're in the playoff, and now we got to go beat our brains in against each other, and then we start the playoff, and we don't get that extra week off because one will have a bye, the other one wouldn't have a bye. Most likely only the champion will get a bye. It does make it a little bit. It de-emphasizes getting to the championship game. That's why I was in favor of 8 with automatic qualifiers, for the major conferences. But yeah, this is going to be. I think if there's anybody that got a little bit of an easier schedule, it's very balanced. LSU. Yeah. I think LSU, they had Alabama coming in anyway. Now they get Oklahoma coming in there as well, but it's at home. And we don't know how Oklahoma is going to look in this league, after what they did last year. At Arkansas, at Florida, at South Carolina, at Texas A&M. I think of everybody's, maybe theirs got a hair easier, LSU, but for the most part, it's pretty balanced.
Yeah, I think the SEC, the conference office, they took what was going to be a challenging job, and I think they nailed it, really, for everybody. When everybody's crying out, we got an unfair deal, and I think they gave everybody a fair deal. And that's what's great for competition. When everybody looks at their schedule and says, oh, this schedule is really hard. Oh, how are we going to navigate this schedule? And that's like, look, I love Alabama, and I love high level football, but I want to see competition. I don't want to see Alabama blowing out, Middle Tennessee State University in week 1 in 2023. I love what we're doing with this schedule. I'm hoping that you'll get eventually to a 9-game schedule. And really, you talked in Washington the last week or so about dividing college football up again. I think you need to, and that way you have these upper levels, the SEC, really competing only against themselves.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And, if you were to tell me that everybody in the league was going to play 2 games a year against Power 5 conference teams, whatever that means anymore, you know what I mean? I don't even know what that means anymore. I don't even know what we're supposed to call these things, Joe. I mean, we got the Power 2, and then you got the Group of 5. It's unfair to say that the ACC is a Group of 5. It's not unfair to say the Big 12 is a Group of 5, so that's a Group of 6. It's like it's the Power 2, the ACC, and the Group of 7. I think that's what we need to call these 3 because it's, you know what I mean? Because it's different now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see the Big Ten and the SEC separate themselves from the rest of the pack of college football. And we'll see the ACC scrambling. ACC and Pac-12 are scrambling to try to respond to some of the conference realignment. I think you're really going to see some of that pick up after the 12-team playoff once they see, okay, this is how it was played out. This is how the committee viewed our conference. I think you'll see a lot more kind of movement and realignment, people trying to angle themselves into that 12-team playoff.
everybody just assumes that this is going to go to a 9-game schedule at some particular point in time. There is symmetry with it being a 8-game schedule, I suppose. 9 makes more sense. Do you think we'll see, in your opinion, do you think we'll see 9 beginning in 25?
No, not that early, but I do think we will get there eventually. Probably closer to 28, 30, somewhere in that range. But
really?
I just think stubborn people are gonna. You're looking through the rest of you. I mean, look what Nick Saban outlined when he was talking about it in SEC spring meetings. He said we've got games scheduled out 10 years down the line that we may or may not have to break contracts on. You just talked about breaking the Wisconsin contract. I don't think they'll do that, but I think that they want to preserve. You know, Alabama's going to Notre Dame. Alabama's going to Ohio State, having a home and home with those teams. I think because of that, and Alabama's not alone in that. A lot of other schools have scheduled out significantly as well. So I think when you see some of those schedules, okay, now we don't have our schedule loaded up, they'll add that 9th game.
Yeah. Going to miss the Mississippi schools a little bit there on this schedule. But again, it'll be every other year. So I think what we'll see in a 25 schedule. You know what this tells me at this level right here, because supposedly Texas and Oklahoma playing everybody the first 2 years that they're going to go, everybody will play them. Everybody's playing somebody, and then the next year will play the next team. It seems to me with Alabama going to Oklahoma in 24, it seems to me that Texas is coming back to Tuscaloosa in 25. I think Texas is going to be back in Tuscaloosa.
Well, wouldn't that? I mean, that just adds intrigue to this year. I mean, that makes sense. That makes great sense.
That makes sense. I think so. You're at Oklahoma. Everybody in the conference is going to play Texas and Oklahoma over the next 2 years, or over 24 and 25. So Alabama's already playing Oklahoma. I think the next obvious thing, and they're playing at Oklahoma. So then in 25, I think Texas comes to Alabama.
It sounds like a great plan. Do you think Steve Sarkisian will still be the head coach by that point?
Well, I don't know if Nick Saban will still be the head coach at that point. Not because of, only because it's got to end at some point. 2, 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. So,
with the Texas job being so volatile, being so, you got to win 11 games or we're firing you. Look, Alabama's keeping Nick Saban as long as he wants to, but you're right with this game. I mean, age is against him, and it's coming down sooner or later, sometime between 2 to 5 years. I think you need to soak it up as an Alabama fan.
Yeah, I think Sarkisian needs to win 9, maybe 10, and start showing that they're moving in the right direction. And I think they have the ability to do that. All right, great stuff. Joe Gaither has been our guest. Check out the Joe Gaither Show coming up at the top of the hour. You can find that there at Bama Central. The links are there. It's also on the YouTube. Joe, I appreciate you, man.
Tom, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you. All right, Grizz, I'm getting requests for Underdog, Johnny Quest, Gulliver. I don't even know what Gulliver is. Get a couple.
Gulliver's Travels, I think.
Underdog has been mentioned a couple of times. Okay, so just put that in your hat and just know that it's there. All right, we'll get a break. When we come back, we'll set you up for hour number 2 next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hey there, folks. Head fry cook Bob Baumhauer here, and I just want to say thank you for allowing Baumhauer's Victory Grill to serve you for 40 legendary years. When I first delivered Alabama's first taste of buffalo wings back in 1981, people thought I was crazy. For the first few years, I had to give wings away. Imagine that. 40 years later, I'm still proud to serve the great people and visitors of Alabama of famous buffalo wings and much more. Here's to 40 years of legendary fun, legendary food, and many, many more.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other. I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Your Trash Pandas return to the Rocket City Tuesday, June 20th for another 6-game homestand at Toyota Field. Promotions include a Trash Pandas Garden Gnome giveaway on Tuesday, Marvel Defenders of the Diamond Night on Thursday, and of course fireworks close out the evening on both Friday and Saturday. Reserve your seats now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, though it does look like we're going to get a significant period of dry time. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky once again for your Friday, but it is going to be a little bit warmer with a couple of peaks of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We're essentially going to repeat this process as we head into your Saturday. Partly sunny sky, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with an isolated shower certainly possible. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And I'm gonna sing a song for you. Gonna show you a thing or two.
This was always the last cartoon of the day. Grizz, in the Eastern time when I was a kid growing up, this would come out at 12:30. And it would be from 12:30 to 1, and that was the end of the cartoons.
Yeah, it's good cartoon, and it was a good movie with Eddie Murphy. Let's put down the Bill Cosby part. Yeah, I was trying to get away from that part.
Well, I mean, it is Bill Cosby.
It is Bill Cosby.
What are you going to do?
It is.
At that time, he was hilarious. I mean, it was great. We didn't know he was doing what he was doing. You know, who knew? So Pat Sajak is retiring after this upcoming year of the Wheel of Fortune, and he and Vanna White have been doing that show. Pat Sajak is 76 years old. I had no idea he was that old. Vanna White is 66 years old, and they've been doing that show for 41 years. I mean, Vanna White started on that show when she was 25 years old. And she's still doing Wheel of Fortune at 66. Pat Sajak was 35, and he's still doing it.
Is there a show like that? Because, like, I watch a lot of old shows, kind of like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and all that kind of stuff, like all those old type of game shows. Is there a game show nowadays that you can, like, relate to some of these, like, really classic shows? Because now they're just copying all the old shows with just terrible hosts and everything like that.
Yeah, the best ones are still the old ones.
Yeah.
Like Price is Right. They just changed hosts, people die and stuff like that.
I mean, Drew Carey is Price is Right. I mean, that's great.
Well, yeah, but it was Bob Barker.
Yeah, well, of course. Yeah, I'm talking about replacements.
Bob Barker,
Yeah,
but
I'm talking about
he's been a good replacement. You know who's best? You know who's really, really good? Is on Family Feud, Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey
definitely.
On Family Feud is actually better than Richard Dawson was on Family. Hey, mark it down. Next week, let's do game show music.
Yeah, Richard Dawson was better on Match Game as a guest than a host.
Yeah, Steve Harvey as the host of the Family Feud is outstanding. Yeah. I mean, he is absolutely outstanding. But yeah, you're right. It's the older ones. The newer ones are all kind of like primetime ones, and they're games. The Cube and
I hate that.
All of them kind of dumb
stupid.
shows.
The Cube.
So, who do you think the favorite is to replace Pat Sajak as the host of the number one Wheel of Fortune? Who is the next host?
No idea.
Vegas has
Mark
odds.
Summers doing anything anymore?
Vanna White. That to me is not going to happen. You can't go from being a letter turner for 41 years to being the host. I think she retires with him.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest is next after that, 4-1.
Okay.
And then Maggie Sajak, which apparently is Pat Sajak's daughter. Wayne Brady, Terry Crews, Steve Harvey is 10-1.
I take Wayne Brady.
Who's James Holzhauer?
I have no idea.
He's 12-1. Jane Lynch is 12-1. LeVar Burton, 16-1.
Oh, James Holzhauer is the guy that won Jeopardy. He's the really smart guy.
Snoop Dogg is 33-1.
He's one of them. He's like the machine, whatever they call him.
Tom Brady, 100-1. Donald Trump, 150-1. Donald Trump, host.
Let's do it.
A Wheel of Fortune. Never know. He
doesn't win the presidential race, yeah.
Maybe available. All right, coming up next, Steve Gribben talking U.S. Open, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. First round of the U.S. Open rolls on from Los Angeles Country Club. Scott Stallings among those in a large group in the early lead at 1 under, a group that also includes amateurs Omar Morales and Michael Brennan. Bryson DeChambeau is 1 back. One of the more intriguing groups today features 2 of the central figures in the PGA Tour Live Golf dispute, Rory McIlroy and Brooks Koepka. They tee off 4:54 Eastern, along with former Masters champ Hideki Matsuyama. A major hurdle cleared by the A's for their planned relocation to Las Vegas. One final legislative approval in Nevada for public funding for part of a proposed $1.5 billion Vegas stadium. Players and fans around baseball not exactly thrilled with the A's move. Like Vegas-born Philly slugger Bryce Harper told USA Today Sports, the relocation's just not right. He sees the A's as Oakland, not as Vegas.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, though it does look like we're going to get a significant period of dry time. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky once again for your Friday, but it is going to be a little bit warmer with a couple of peaks of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We're essentially going to repeat this process as we head into your Saturday. Partly sunny sky, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with an isolated shower certainly possible. I'm Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life. You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome. This segment of the show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. And Woody Anderson Ford, the service department is second to none. They can take care of your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or not. And don't forget, they got a great body shop over there. You know, you hope you don't need the body shop, but if you need a body shop, don't be thinking about, well, I got to take it to just some old collision shop. You could take it to Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a Ford or not. And they'll do a tremendous job in the body shop. One time in the 18 years that I've been in the Valley, 19 years now in the Valley, one time I had to take my vehicle to the body shop, and it was a 2016 Ford Fusion, and they did an incredible job with it. Somebody rear-ended us like new when it was done. They just do a great job. Also, we want to thank Woody Anderson Ford for sponsoring the Woody Anderson Ford Rocket City Awards presented by the Huntsville Sports Commission, which is coming up on Monday night. Now, the event is sold out. Just want to remind you, though, you can watch the event at WHNT.com. That's WHNT.com, Channel 19's website. You'll be able to watch the entire event there beginning at 7 o'clock. And it is going to be a good time had by all. I mean, Steve and Bailey and John and Drew and Chad will all be presenters at the event. I'll be emceeing the event, and we'll be giving out awards for the high school team of the year, boys and girls, the high school athlete of the year, boys and girls. It's going to be a great night. Coach of the year, boys and girls. North Alabama College team of the year, men and women. Coach of the year as well. North Alabama College athlete of the year, men and women. We also have a college athlete of the year from the area. Michaela Morard, Denver Jones, Kobe Brown. Those are our nominees. We have got our pro athlete of the year from the area, Javon Harrison, Kyle Wright, and Nick Dowd. Those are the nominees on that deal. We'll also have the inspirational athlete of the year and the Billy Neighbors Lifetime Achievement Award. Chad will be doing 2 awards. I don't know if Chad knows what awards he's doing yet. Might need to kind of prep a little bit. You got 2, Chad.
I thought I had
1. 2. No.
I thought I only had 1.
I thought you had 1 too, but then I realized I'm looking at the list right now, and you have 2. Chad, you will be awarding the Pro Athlete of the Year from the area, And you are also awarding the High School Athlete of the Year for girls. So the Girls High School Athlete of the Year is you.
Thanks.
Eva McIntosh, Meg Paparella, and Leah Brooks are the nominees for that.
I'm getting my suit nice and pressed, permed, and fancy and ready.
So I'll be the guy that says, now to present the award for the Girls High School Athlete of the Year from 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Thom Abraham Show. It's Chad Gwathney.
Jazz up the crowd, jazz up the crowd, jazz up the crowd, do a little dance.
You come out, do a little spinorama when you come out.
You know what I mean?
Then you're going to say, here are the nominees. Stuff. You'll say, here are the nominees.
Here are the nominees.
For the Girls High School Athlete of the Year. And you can like Vanna White. You can point
of the year.
And then you can point to you can go like this and point to the screen behind you. There'll be 3 screens, but you can like point to the screen. And then there'll be video and the big voice guy and everything else. And he'll he'll take over for like 45 seconds of highlights and things like that. And then you'll have the envelope. Boom, and you'll say something like, oh, they're all deserving of this, but the recipient of the Rocket City Award for the Girls High School Athlete of the Year is, and then you fumble with the envelope, open the envelope.
Fumble it a little bit, act like I can't open it really quick.
Yeah.
What does it say? It's upside down.
Flip and then you'll read it. And then they'll come up, and they'll say a word or two, and then you'll maybe ask a question. Say, hey,
How nervous are you right now? Did you think that you were going to win this award tonight? Obviously.
Say, how you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? Never know. All right. That'll be a good one. I don't know that your Pro Athlete of the Year recipient might not be there, depending on who it is, because, they're professionals and they're out.
It's an honor to be a part of this. It's crazy that we're doing this. The amount of work behind the scenes by everybody, tremendous job so far. Keep rocking and rolling. Just one more week, and once we get to Monday, it'll be all behind us, but it'll be worth it, and it'll be something that a lot of people will talk about, and it'll be something, like I said, great to be a part of.
We got 2 or 3 of our recipients who are not going to be able to join us, but they will be sending video.
Am I coming?
Accepting. I'm sorry?
I was making sure I'm coming.
No, you'll be there.
I'm doing it from the studio, right?
You'll need to be there. So Grims is stiffing us again. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I cannot get a hold of him.
He is the hardest. And I texted him, and nothing. You know what that means we can do, though? That means we can go ahead and open up the phone lines. If you want to jump in, you can do it now. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977. Grizz, they preserved all of the games that I think needed to be preserved, that Thom thinks needed to be preserved. Okay? This is what they did. They hung on to, I said there's 10 or 11. I got 10 for sure. There might be 11. Okay? And you could tell me what the 11th would be. But Alabama-Auburn is going to be played. See, and this is the key here, is that you've got to play these games. And I hope that these games will continue. I hope this isn't just this year. Although, Joe Gaither made a compelling case for Alabama LSU. It's going to be played, but I don't think it's one of the games that has to be played beyond 2024. It'll be played in 2024. Do you have to play it every single year? I don't know. But, the Iron Bowl, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas, Auburn, Georgia, Florida, Georgia, the Egg Bowl, the Red River Shootout, Texas A&M. More on that in a moment. All right, I'll cave in, Tennessee fan. Tennessee, Florida. Vanderbilt, Tennessee. So those are those games all stayed in. That's 10 games. Now, do we need Kentucky, Tennessee? No, I don't think so. Do we need LSU, Arkansas? I used to think so. Maybe LSU, Arkansas. I'd say LSU, Arkansas before Tennessee, Kentucky, because Tennessee would have 3 of these things. So I think that they didn't take away any game that you got to have. They didn't take away any game that you got to have.
I really don't. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as an Alabama fan, how bad are you going to miss the Ole Miss and Mississippi State game?
I really do. 90 miles apart, Mississippi State. I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but
you're going to hold the South Carolina
Kiffin,
Missouri game?
Lane Kiffin and I'd rather, if it came down to one or the other, 90 miles is fine. I'd rather them play Ole Miss than play State.
Okay, but the thing is, it's like, why put the South Carolina game on there? Why do we even have to have that game? They haven't played other than, what was it, the 2 times since 2013.
Maybe that's
Georgia still hasn't played Texas A&M, and they don't talk about it. They just keep
they'll play them in 2025.
They play Alabama. They play Texas.
I bet Georgia plays Texas. I'm sure that Georgia's going to Texas A&M in 25.
I would take the Ole Miss game, to be honest with you, instead of the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, but Oklahoma has to play 7 of the teams, and so does Texas. And they weren't going to give Alabama Texas again. It would be 3 straight years against Texas. So Oklahoma was a lock. I told you they were playing Oklahoma. I thought they were going to play Oklahoma at home in place of the South Carolina game, but they kept the South Carolina game. I mean, I think that so what this tells me is you can kind of peek ahead and get a little bit of a feel for what's next in 25. They're going to play Mississippi State and Ole Miss in 2025. You got to figure they're playing those people in 2025. They're playing Texas in 2025. I think they're going to have to play Texas in 2025. You can kind of peek ahead and see where this is going. If they don't go to 9, though, you know what you're not going to get in 2025? You're not going to get Texas and Texas A&M. Because Texas A&M is one of the existing SEC teams, right? So Texas A&M in 25, since Oklahoma and Texas are playing everybody their first 2 years, either home or away, since Texas A&M is playing Texas in 24, that means that Oklahoma has to play Texas A&M in 25. And they're not going to play both Oklahoma and Texas.
So are we going to get Bama, Florida in 25?
Yeah. I think everything that's not on there this year, the question will be outside of the Auburn game, are they keeping anything else? See, I would keep Auburn and Tennessee. But Georgia will go away, Missouri will go away, South Carolina will go away, at LSU will go away, at Oklahoma will go away, and at Vandy will go away. And you would replace that with Florida, the 2 Mississippi schools, Arkansas, everybody they're not playing this year.
Yeah.
That's the way it would go. I believe that makes sense.
I think it's nice because there's a lot of times where you can't really see that type of matchup, and you go so many years without seeing these types of matchup as a fan. I think it's actually kind of appealing. If it does happen in 2025, it's actually kind of appealing of how that's happening. Because I would love to see, Alabama play somebody outside of the the regular 6 every single year too. I mean, Arkansas gets a little stagnant over
I got in a little argument with Tony Mack, my old producer, one of many. I got a little back and forth with him on a tweeter over Oklahoma and what Oklahoma's going to be in the SEC. I told him, I said, look, think Texas A&M, 7 or 8 wins every year. And then every few years, they'll have a 10-win season or a 7-win season. And they're not going to the SEC championship anytime soon. You watch. It's going to be like Texas A&M. It's going to be like some of these other people. You looked at Oklahoma's schedule this year, their last Big 12 schedule. In conference, they're playing at Cincinnati, SMU, Iowa State, Texas, UCF, at Kansas, at Oklahoma State, West Virginia, and TCU. Those games go away and they replace them with Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Auburn, LSU, Missouri, Ole Miss. I mean, you want to talk about a step up.
Yeah. That strength of
Grumpy is
schedule
up.
got real crazy.
Oh, it got nuts in a hurry. Watch what you wish for, Texas and Oklahoma fan. Grumpy's up. Grumpy, what's up?
Hey, man, so they're going to do away with the conferences in the SEC?
Divisions, yeah. Divisions are gone this year.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean divisions are this year. We'll have divisions this year, and starting in 24 going forward, no division, which is going to be real interesting.
How do you choose who goes to the SEC championship game? Tiebreakers if there's similar wins and losses?
Yeah, this is going to be that's the next huge hurdle. They're working on it right now. Of course, you got the same thing in the Big Ten. All of these conferences have done away with their divisions, and it's going to be the top 2 teams in the conference that play for the conference championship, which means you could be back. You could have the Iron Bowl, and then the next week they could play again in the SEC championship game. But nobody really knows yet what the tiebreakers are going to be because it's going to be a nightmare. Common opponents and record in the league. It's going to be really something.
So Auburn and Georgia will continue to play every year?
No, right now all we know is that we don't know anything past 24. So right now we know that Auburn and Georgia play in 24, but there's no guarantee going forward. Other than Alabama, Auburn, there's no guarantee, whether or not that'll be locked in.
Yeah, I called last year when you were saying pick your 3, and I was like, get rid of Georgia, and you went crazy. Auburn needs to get rid of Georgia every year. I believe that wholeheartedly. The goal is not to win the SEC; it's to get to the national championship game. And why in the world would you continue to play an SEC championship game with the expanded field? The top 2 teams in the SEC are going to get in anyway. Why, are they going to require conferences to have a championship, and that's why it's going to continue to have it? Why would we play one? The team gains nothing. The teams gain nothing.
There's one thing you would gain. If you win the SEC championship game, you'll get a bye in the first round of the playoffs.
That's not worth it. I'd rather skip
that's all
the
you'd
game
gain
and have to play.
Yeah, that's all you would gain because it's not the top 2 that are going to probably with a 12-team playoff. It's going to be at least the top 3 teams will make the playoff, if not 4. At least the top 3 teams would make the playoff, and one of them will be sitting home, resting up, licking their wounds, getting 2 weeks of practice in before the playoffs start, while the other 2 are beating their brains in what will be the toughest game of the year, potentially. If you think about it that way.
Is it a 12-team playoff we're going to?
12.
And what year is that?
Beginning in 24.
Oh, so 24.
This is the last year. Yeah, this is the last year. That's why the SEC didn't go to the 9-game thing yet. What the SEC said is we want to see how the college football playoff is going to treat our teams after this schedule. And this is why your coach said something. I'll be honest with you. He said something that bothered me quite a bit. And I don't know if you heard it when I played it before. But he said regarding going to a 9-game schedule, he said, I don't know if I'm for it or not. You guys tell me, are you going to put us in the playoff at 9-3? And I'm like, really? He's saying that? You're just automatically saying that if you play, Alabama, Georgia, and whoever, that you're automatically saying you're asking the media, are you guys going to vote us in at 9-3? That's the mindset? Why isn't the mindset I'm going to go? And the reason I think you need to keep playing Georgia and Alabama is because strength of schedule is going to mean a lot. What I would do is, for the sake of both teams, what they really ought to do. I wish they would.
Why on earth would you say that?
Tougher schedule, man. Better. A close loss. A close loss to Georgia is better than beating Kentucky.
Hold on. You just said strength of schedule will mean a lot, as if you haven't watched college football in 20 years.
Well, no, I think strength of schedule has meant a lot. We have seen.
Listen, strength of
Notre Dame plays a tough schedule. They do play a tough schedule.
Strength of schedule will mean nothing in a 12-team playoff.
I think it's going to be more than ever. It'll be more than ever because now you can take these teams that didn't even get to their conference championship game. When Alabama went at 11-1 and they left home a Big Ten champion that played a softer schedule, I mean, that's all you got to. That's all you got to know. I mean, they took an 11-1 team.
The top 3 teams in the SEC will get in every year.
Yeah.
There won't be a year when we don't have the top 3 in a 12-team playoff. So I'd rather not play Georgia.
The one thing I'd like to see happen, because there's years when you've been very competitive. It's not going to be. Why can't Auburn dominate that game for 8 out of 10 years? I mean, it can. But the only thing I would like to see is I would like to see them be split. I think it's unfair. yes, you get them both in your building every other year, but going like in 2024, you got to go to Tuscaloosa and to Athens. They should split that, where you get them home, one's home and one's away.
You're acting like Auburn's afraid of Georgia. Auburn's not afraid of Georgia, but the goal is not to win the SEC championship. That is not the goal. Why would you want to play either Alabama or Georgia twice in 1 year? You gain nothing.
So why not just schedule a bunch of cupcakes? I mean, what's the point of that?
Well, the point in that is play the other SEC teams. That's what, don't have Georgia every year and Alabama every year. As an Auburn fan, that's ridiculous.
All right, but let's look at it now. In 24, you would have had them anyway. But in 24, you got Alabama. You're at Alabama and you're at Georgia. Okay, but you're also at.
That's my point right there. Hold on, you just wait for my point. You mentioned it like it was a fart in the wind.
Yeah, but you also have Vanderbilt, Missouri, Kentucky. You know what I mean? They what they did was they offset it. That's what they did with this schedule. What they took, if you play two great teams, they took and they gave you two teams that are historically at the bottom of the list, and so they gave you Missouri and Vandy. So there's wins.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about playing a dominant team twice in 1 year. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to beat Georgia in the regular season and then
they took LSU off
again. I'd rather just play them once.
But if you beat them in the regular season, you don't have to worry about beating them in the playoff or in the SEC championship game because you're going anyway. They took LSU off the schedule.
You could play a team twice in 1 year.
Yeah, you could.
What you're saying.
No, what I'm saying is that let's say you beat Georgia during the season, but you didn't, and then when you got to the SEC championship game, you were playing Tennessee. Let's just say, okay? Well, that win over Georgia is going to mean a lot for you. Whether you play them twice in the same year or not. They took LSU off your schedule. You were every year you were playing A&M, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia every single year. So now they took two of those away. Now you still got Alabama and Georgia, but they took away LSU and Texas A&M, and they gave you Missouri and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, which aren't which will probably win. My point is if you play Alabama and Georgia every year, you're probably going to have two losses every year right there. You might beat Alabama or Georgia every few years, and you might beat both of them every 10 years. But but I've watched Ohio State, I've watched Notre Dame, I've watched TCU, I've watched other teams get high rankings by only playing a couple of teams and that are not even any teams that are dominant. Really, they don't play any teams that are dominant. Playing Alabama every year and then the good.
Yeah, you beat Alabama 6 years in a row.
And Georgia every other year, every 7 years, like it was. Or like it is. That's good with me. I don't need to play Georgia and Alabama every year, and I'm not afraid of them. My goal is to get a ring, a national championship ring, not the SEC championship ring. I just don't. I think Auburn needs to drop Georgia. Is my point, and I think the SEC championship game is should not even be played now. That's really why.
Unless it's I do think that the bye might be worth something. I don't think it's worth nothing, but it is. But it doesn't matter because you've played an extra week. So all the other teams, it's like having a bye, right? If you don't play in the SEC championship game, So you get 2 weeks off, but but the losing the SEC championship game is the worst thing you can do.
I want some Hong Kong Phooey.
I don't know where you get Hong Kong Phooey. I'm not sure where you get it.
Rosemary, the telephone operator? No. Henry, the mild-mannered janitor? Could be. Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy.
I do remember this one.
Yeah, this one was good. I actually had it ready and everything, just in case anybody wanted it. Like I said, they don't make good theme songs anymore.
Yeah. But to answer Norm's question, Norm says since it is a one-off schedule this year, how can a conference build off next year, and what will be the rivals, and why can't we have 4 rivals and keep and rotate the rest? Because the reason you're not going to see 4 rivals, that's almost all the way back to divisions then. If you do that, they want everybody to play everybody home and home every 4 years. So you need to eliminate as many permanent games as possible. So you either have to go 3-6 or 1-7 to get. You want to play everybody home and home every 4 years. That is the goal. If we have 4 rivals, then it's going to take. You're going to go now 4, 5, 6 years before you see everybody. But this is a one-off. But don't tell me that the 25 schedule isn't going to be based in a large way off of this schedule. I think it will be. Floyd is up. Floyd, welcome to the show. How are you?
All right, guys. How are y'all?
Fantastic.
Hey, as Ric Flair used to say, to be the man, you have to beat the man. So
yeah.
This whole thing, this whole schedule, just bring them on. I mean, whoever it is, just bring them on. But
yeah.
That's
SEC, you're going to play a tough schedule. I mean, Alabama's playing Auburn and Georgia this year. Now, they don't always do that. And yes, I will agree that Auburn has the toughest 2 teams on their regular rotation, but one of them is the oldest rivalry in the South, and the other one is the freaking Iron Bowl. And look, we all remember Auburn winning the Iron Bowl 6 straight years. Then Alabama was, I don't want to play Auburn every year. They beat us every year.
But that's not even why I called. I know y'all talk a lot of baseball on here, and did you happen to see the announcement yesterday that they are having they called it a Field of Dreams type game in Birmingham next year between the Cardinals and the San Francisco Giants at Rickwood Field in Birmingham.
I saw that the Cardinals and Giants, was it the Cardinals and the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw they were playing a Field of Dreams game, but I didn't realize it was at Rickwood. I kind of got a feeling it might have been because there was a tweet put out there by Josh Carey about the old stadium in Chattanooga, and it's a rotten shame that they let that thing, fall apart. But is it really a Field of Dreams game if it's at Rickwood? I mean, isn't a Field of Dreams supposed to be at a Field of Dreams at Field of Dreams Stadium in Iowa?
Right, I agree with that. But yes, I was just excited that they're going to be playing at Rickwood next year.
That's cool.
With the Giants, they're honoring Willie Mays because Willie Mays he was from Fairfield, which is a suburb of Birmingham.
Right.
And he got his start at Rickwood Field playing in the old Industrial League there in Birmingham.
And just think about what they're going to do to that place, too. I mean, they're going to bring it up to speed. The field's going to be beautiful. All the work that they'll have to do to kind of shore up that stadium a little bit and everything. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys that were aware of that or not, but yeah, that's going to be awesome. I don't know when tickets go on sale, but I'm going to try to be there.
I don't know how many tickets. How many does Rickwood hold? I mean, it'll be. I bet it's going to be
wearing Black Baron jerseys.
That'll be really tough to get. Now they're not going to wear Black. I don't think.
Yeah, they're going. Yeah, I don't know if they're wearing the old throwback for the Giants or the Cardinals, but if they all the old Black Barons that played there and all the guys that came through there, with Mays and
Hank
the rest
Aaron,
of the guys. A lot of the guys
Satchel Paige
there in the old industrial leagues back when all the steel mills were running and everybody had a team, and because I think Mays played there when he was in high school.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
We have to figure out a way to get down there. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be neat.
Yeah.
But
all right.
But yeah, I was just gonna see if you guys were aware of that.
Appreciate it, Floyd.
All right, man.
And so much of the schedule stuff booked for today. I decided not to do my normal baseball that I would do today. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, Justin Ferguson will join us. We'll ask him what he thinks about whether or not it's okay for Auburn to continue to play both Georgia and Alabama every year or whether it's unfair. We'll do it next right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
Thom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Electric cars are coming faster than you think, and that's why we're bringing SEMA Connect to Alabama.
Our team educates you and helps provide a long-term plan for your business. Where to put them, how to get them there, how to pay for them, tax incentives, service, and monitoring. We take care of everything.
Doing the right thing means bringing EV car chargers to Alabama. Let us help you with your EV charging plan.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
When the biggest names in aerospace, financial services, and electronics needed office and manufacturing space in Huntsville, they called Samples Properties, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. When Huntsville first began to grow, so did Samples Properties. You can trust your business to Samples Properties and their deep knowledge of the commercial real estate market in Huntsville and Madison. When you're in the market for commercial real estate and you need a partner who knows how to make your plans come together, Samples Properties can guide you through all the legal, financial, and regulatory hurdles. And if you just need office space to start or grow your business, Samples Properties is the call you need to make. Go to samplesproperties.com to see the impressive list of clients that have profited from the knowledge and integrity of Samples Properties. For commercial real estate development and consultation, trust your business to Samples Properties, with offices on Madison Street in downtown Huntsville. samplesproperties.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We're going to maintain the opportunity for scattered showers and thunderstorms, though it does look like we're going to get a significant period of dry time. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, dropping into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. A mostly cloudy sky once again for your Friday, but it is going to be a little bit warmer with a couple of peaks of sunshine. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. We're essentially going to repeat this process as we head into your Saturday. Partly sunny sky, temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with an isolated shower certainly possible. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, Wes Neighbors, and of course, Thom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So this one, Grizz, in the 60s, when I was a kid, little kid, in the 60s, this was 7 o'clock Eastern time on like Wednesday night. I forget what it was. And then the Green Hornet and then Batman.
Yes.
Batman, the old Batman.
Should've played
Wham,
Batman.
boom, pow. So it was the Flintstones and then the Green Hornet and then the Batman. And my parents would let me stay up on that Wednesday night. I get to stay up to 8:30.
Yeah.
They would let me stay up. I never forget it. It was like every Wednesday night. I think it was Wednesday nights. Every Wednesday night, I got to stay up to 8:30 to watch the Flintstones and the Batman and the Green Hornet, like the Green Hornet. Anyway, Throwback Thursday in the Doghouse. That's why we're playing old cartoons is what made the cut today. All right, this segment of the show, by the way, brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Tennessee, Alabama, or Florida, North Alabama Mortgage has the right product for you. And don't forget that even though the rates went up a little bit over the past year and a half, the value in your home is also up. And you can pull some of that money out of your home with a home equity loan and pay off high-interest credit card debt and save a lot of money. So don't get all excited about 5 or 6% on the mortgage rates on the refi when you're getting rid of 18, 19, 20%, 23%, 24.99% credit cards. It all makes sense. All right, joining us now, our old friend Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. He's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Ferg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Tom?
Fantastic. So would you agree with Paul Feinbaum, who last night on the broadcast said that this was one of the most exciting times in the history of the SEC? What do you think? I mean, it was last night that was right up there with I don't know what. Pretty exciting.
It was funny how like they were selling it, getting the hard sell for it. Like we already know they're in the conference, guys. I mean, it's interesting to see who they're going to be playing, but yeah, it was they were trying to get people excited in June, which I guess TV ratings you got to try to pump those up. I
will say this: when I started seeing Oklahoma and Texas on SEC team schedules and then I saw when they flashed Oklahoma's schedule and Texas's schedule with all those SEC teams, it felt real. 2 years ago, we were all at SEC Media Days when we got this bomb dropped on us, and for 2 years, we've kind of known, okay, it's coming, they're coming. But seeing the games on there and the matchups and everything, it was like all of a sudden, it was the first time they kind of felt like part of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be very interesting to see kind of how they handled it that first year. I think it's good that everybody in the league gets to play at least one of them. It's made the most sense of trying to set it up, and it'll be fun. I hope the league goes to 9 games long term, gets everything settled, gets a rotation going, and all that. But for this bridge year in 2024, I think they did a good job of balancing the schedules out and putting some exciting games out there.
I wonder if it means that in 2025 it'll flip, that everybody that both Oklahoma and Texas play everybody else in the league that they didn't play in 24, which would basically, I think we could kind of peek ahead and speculate that in 25 Auburn would probably going to be going to Texas. I think it's going to take 2 years before they're ready to settle into whatever they're going to settle into with the 9-game deal.
Yeah, I could see that for sure, and see how many rivalries you protect in that. But yeah, play Texas, go to Austin in 25. That would make a ton of sense. I think that was the good part about the 3-6-6 system. If they get to it, if they ever get that kind of squared away with who plays who, that's the fact that you could play everybody every 2 years and play at everybody's stadium every 4 years. I mean, that's just the perfect way to do it. But for now, while you're trying to figure all that out, try to spread it around. And I think the league is doing some. It's not like they're just drawing these things at random. They're doing a good job of balancing it out.
I was a 3-6-6 guy, and I have been a 3-6-6 guy forever. But I got to tell you, after I saw what the Big Ten did, and I started looking at the threes that we would have, in the SEC. Yeah, some of them are, for some teams it's obvious. For some teams it's like hard to decide, which one would fall off of the list. And then on the other hand, some of them we're just making up. You know what I mean? It's just like certain games we're just making them up. I kind of like what the 10 did because I think the SEC also has about 11 games that you've got to have. But I think after you eliminate, after you've cycled through those 11 games that you have to have on the schedule, and that means some teams might play 2, some teams might play 1, some teams will play 3. Some teams, like South Carolina, who does South Carolina have to play every year? Who do they have to play? Yeah. You know what I mean? Missouri. Who do they have to play every year? And so I think it would all balance out. I wonder, though, after seeing what the 10 did, if they don't kind of go in that direction a little bit.
Yeah, and I think what they did last night could kind of set themselves up for that. It's a good system. If you can get everybody to agree to it, you can be flexible enough to have. I mean, Penn State, if I remember correctly, doesn't have any protected rivals, and it's,
right.
they're a big they're a big dog in the Big Ten, but kind of like South Carolina, they were a later addition to the conference, and doesn't really have a ton of history compared to where they want to protect everybody else. So I think you could have that flexibility. It would be great. I think any scenario where you're not having to pick and choose who you play and who you don't play in terms of your big rivals would be good. So maybe now that the Big Ten has gone with that option, it would be very interesting to see next year at spring meetings if that's like something that gets thrown out there, because the balance I think that they tried to bring and the protection of the rivalries. I think there were only 2 games, 2 permanent opponents, annual games like crossover games that didn't stay, in this new format, and it was the 2 that, like you said, are just made up. Mississippi State, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Vanderbilt. They just had to have those games. So, being able to protect all those crossover games for the most part, and a lot of your, what used to be the divisional games, I think is a good play.
Yeah, I think it would work out that way. Now, the question for Auburn would be, they're the only team in 24 that goes to Tuscaloosa and goes to Athens. They were going to do that anyway. I mean, they've been doing that forever. Ever since '92, they've been doing that. And I would like to see those split somehow eventually. I don't know how they would do it. You'd have to, go back to back a certain way at some point in time with one or the other. It would be nice to see them, although they might really like having, Alabama and Georgia come in on even on the odd years, but even years, they go to Alabama and Georgia. Maybe it would be better to try and split those. The Iron Bowl is going nowhere. I got a few, more than just one Auburn fan that says we don't need to play Georgia every year. I'm not one of those, though. I think that Auburn and Georgia need to play, damn it. Regardless of the fact that Georgia's what they are right now and Auburn is on a rebound, I think that game needs to be played. What's your take on that?
Yeah, it's the most played college football game in the South. It should continue to be played. That shouldn't go away. And I think that is, we can talk today about Auburn not playing LSU every year. Well, that's something that hadn't been, that's only been since the 90s.
I can live with that.
It's been a regular thing. Yeah, Mississippi schools, okay, you've played them for a while longer. Mississippi State, you've played them every year since the 50s. But yeah, I mean, that not really as much juice there. Auburn, Georgia means a whole lot more. Auburn, Alabama means a whole lot more. Just because of the history and the rivalry attached to those games. And I get it. Yeah, Auburn fans may look at their schedule and say, you know what, if we don't have to play Georgia every year, that'd be good for us. But I do think, even if you have to play Alabama and Georgia every year, I think, say they do a flex system or something like that. Mm-hmm. You saw last night, with the schedule Auburn got. Yeah, you got to go play Alabama and Georgia on the road. Nobody else has to do that. Well, instead of loading up the rest, here you get to play Vanderbilt and Missouri and Kentucky. And no disrespect to them, those are just not the same, as playing in LSU or a Florida or something like that. every year. So, I mean, I think it's a fair system. Just protect what needs to be protected first and foremost, and it's your two biggest rivalries.
You know, State's always frisky. The Ole Miss game is a tough game, and the LSU game would be a tough game. So you lose both the Mississippi schools off of the schedule and LSU. They kept Arkansas and Texas A&M, but at least they've got them at home. They get Oklahoma coming in, which is very exciting. We'll get to that in a moment. But to your point, yeah, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Kentucky. So those are winnable games. I thought the league did a great job across the board making sure that everybody, what did they say? That everybody balanced the schedule strength was based on each school's conference winning percentage since the last expansion of 2012. The winning percentages for the performances of Oklahoma, and Texas in the Big 12 since 2012 were also included in determining the 16 positions. And 2 home and 2 away winning percentage ranked the top 8 conference winning percentage since 2012. And then you got 2 teams from the bottom 8 since 2012. So, I mean, that's about as fair as you can be. I mean, everybody thinks they got screwed, which means that they did a great job with the schedule.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I think any Auburn fan who's objecting to the schedule today is objecting to the fact that it's not tougher. You know, that they don't play LSU, right? You know, they got a good share here, and a good end of the stick. I mean, you knew they were always going to play Alabama and Georgia. You knew they were going to play on the road as well. So, you know, whatever you get to kind of sort out for the rest of it, I thought was pretty good. And the only 2 teams I'm looking at in the conference, and I'm thinking, okay, they got off easy on this one, and we'll see. But both Arkansas and Texas A&M, neither of them have to play Alabama or Georgia. And usually, you know, the way the divisional system worked for the last forever, everybody had to play at least one of them. So they're going to be in a rare spot where they don't have to play Alabama or Georgia, who are the 2 best and, you know, most talented teams in the league. Now, they do have to play LSU and they do have to play Texas. But I wonder, you know, could A&M or Arkansas take advantage of that next year? Because they're the only ones who get to, you know, not have to play the 2 of the most talented teams in the country.
And they get Texas at home in that. But see, this is why I think it'll take 2 years for this to cycle, because in 25, you would think that then Texas A&M would play. Well, they do have LSU on there, but you would think in 25 that Texas A&M, then they're going to play Alabama in 25, and they're going to play Oklahoma in 25, I would think, because they're playing Texas this year. That's the one that we're going to get to a point where Texas A&M and Texas have to play every single year. But if they're going to maintain this thought process that Texas and Oklahoma are going to take 2 years to play every single team in the SEC. Well, if A&M is playing Texas in 24, that means they got to play Oklahoma in 25, and I don't think they'll play Oklahoma and Texas in the same year. At least nobody else is doing that, and I don't think they would do that anyway for them. I think Texas would end up going back to Alabama. Oklahoma going to Auburn, that's sexy, man. I'll say this, though. I mean, right now, as we see them, as we view them right now, if you're looking at, you know, drop LSU at Oklahoma, I know it's Oklahoma and it sounds really intimidating. Oklahoma Sooners. But I would rather play Oklahoma than LSU in 2024. What I'm seeing being built right now, I'm not sure that Oklahoma isn't a 7-5 type of team, you know, 6-6, 7-5 type of team at that point in time after what I saw last year out of Oklahoma. And you look at the schedule that they'd be playing in 24, this is a step up for the Sooners.
Yeah, no, you'd rather play Oklahoma than LSU for sure. I think LSU coming off this SEC West title run, they recruited at a really, really high level. You know, Brian Kelly's a proven winner. Brent Venables is, you know, I think Brent Venables is a great coach. Obviously, was a phenomenal defensive coordinator, but you know, the jury's still out. I mean, I think he's maybe not quite in terms of pressure as like a Billy Napier in Florida, but like people are going to be looking and say, okay, all right, can you pick yourself off the mat in year 2 and do something with it? So yeah, you'd much rather play, you know, Oklahoma than an LSU in that situation. And on top of that, it is a home game. You know, you bring them to Auburn, and in a year where you don't have Alabama or Georgia at home, that'll be easy to help them sell some more season tickets. Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's and you still have A&M coming in as well in Arkansas, so it's a good schedule that way. And Vanderbilt coming in, I think you can handle Vanderbilt no matter where they're at. So, has there been any reaction yet from Hugh Freeze?
No, not any reaction yet from anybody, you know, on the record about what's going on the inside. I think it's been the last 48 hours has been really recruiting heavy for Auburn. They just picked up another big commitment today from a linebacker from right down the road at Tuskegee. It's camp season. They've got a lot going on. So, Freeze had said, last couple of months when we had talked to him about the schedule and going to 8 or 9 or who they play, he's like, you know what, tell me who I got to play and I'll go do it. I think it's going to be tough no matter what. So I think he's had a good attitude about that, and knowing that, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Right now, the big focus has been really trying to pump up this recruiting class.
I didn't like his comment that he made when I asked him about the 9 versus the 8, and he said, I don't know, you guys tell me, you're going to vote us in at 9-3. I didn't like that. I mean, I don't want to hear a coach talking about, we're going to lose 3 games. Would you put us in at 9-3? What do you mean at 9-3? How about go 11-1? And then we'll worry about it. But that was the only thing. All right, before I let you go, I don't know if you even noticed, kid, or pay attention to this, but you are the Auburn Observer. I don't know if you were observing this, but a half an hour ago, Jacob Solomon out of Auburn, the golfer from Auburn, was leading the U.S. Open. Now, he finished bogey to finish 2 under par and is now in a T3, tied for 3rd. But, here's a guy out for the Korn Ferry Tour, ex-Auburn golfer that's looking pretty good, shooting 68 in his first round in the U.S. Open. That doesn't suck.
Yeah, I've had my eye on the Open pretty much all day today, and Dick Solomon making that run. It's interesting too because Solomon, a guy that wasn't necessarily like a super household name at Auburn, but all SEC golfer. And that's the thing about Open golf. Like it's the courses are so tough, and things kind of can get kind of crazy. That if you're if it's your day, you can put out a good number out there. And so really good for Jacob Solomon. Hopefully to see if he can stay in contention this weekend because, U.S. Open, it's not going to be a lot of low scores. So getting a really good round to start out on Thursday always puts yourself in a great position.
Yeah, doing a heck of a lot better than Justin Thomas, right? Thomas is 3 over from Alabama, and a guy that is, everybody's waiting for him to start making some noise in these majors, and he's 3 over, so he's going to be struggling to make the cut if he doesn't be careful. All right, always good. Justin Ferguson has been our guest. Ferg, I'll see you in Nashville next month.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom.
All right, man. Thank you. All right, as we take you to break, Ricky Fowler. That's right. That Ricky Fowler, right out of the Witness Protection Program, is leading the U.S. Open. He is 6 under through 13 holes. Xander Schauffele, 5 under. Ryan Fox is 3 under. Solomon and Scotty Scheffler are at 2 under, along with Si-Woo Kim as well. Bunch of guys not on the course quite yet. Bryson DeChambeau is 1 under. John Rahm is even through 11 holes. Justin Thomas, as I said, 3 over. I think he just made a birdie, so he might be 2 over now through 15 holes. A bunch of the other guys are not on the course yet. Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson. Remember, it's out west, and we're going to have nighttime golf, primetime golf on the TV, which is going to be really cool. All right, we're going to break, come back, and wrap it up next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details. Heary, heary! If you want freedom and independence from those high temperatures and those high utility bills, there's only one place to give a ring to, and that is Talent Heating and Air. Thomas with us from Talent Heating and Air. And Thomas, you've got the independence and the declaration to give customers those breaks.
That's right. We're offering free second opinions and service calls starting at $17.76.
$17.76 for those service calls. And there's only one phone number to call, and that is
256-503-4490.
It's Talent Heating and Air. You can also find them online at
talenthvac.com.
That's Talent Heating and Air, giving you the independence and freedom on this 4th of July from those high temperatures and high utility bills.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
I wanna thank you. Thank you for making us your #1 choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you?
This is Scooby-Doo's favorite show right here, the Tom Abraham Show. He likes the big gun.
Yeah, Lady Bird
See
likes to see
Scooby-Doo.
me on the camera. You're right.
If I'm Scooby-Doo, who are you? Are you Shaggy? Would you be my Shaggy if I'm Scooby-Doo?
I'm Scrappy.
Well, it wasn't Scrappy. Was there a Scrappy on the show? Yeah. I thought it was just
There was
Shaggy.
Scrappy. There was Scrappy, the little dog. The little Scooby-Doo.
Oh, the little dog.
The little Scooby-Doo.
The little Scooby-Doo was named Scrappy?
Yeah, that was Scrappy-Doo. That's everybody calls Lady Bird that. Well, they call her Scooby-Doo because she looks like Scooby-Doo, but that's Scrappy.
I didn't watch a lot of Scooby-Doo. I did watch Archie. I did watch Archie
definitely.
with Veronica.
Yeah, the comic.
And what was the other one's name? Veronica.
I could not remember, to be honest with you.
I think Veronica was the dark-haired one, and then the blonde-haired girl, I forget what her name was. Veronica and, how could we not remember what her name was? On the Archie cartoon. I can't remember. Jughead. Who would Jughead be?
See, Jughead Jones, Betty Cooper.
Jughead Jones.
Veronica Lodge.
Yeah.
Reggie Mantle.
Yeah.
Dilton Doily.
Yeah.
And Moose Mason. Midge Clump.
There was two chicks. What was the other chick's name?
Nancy Woods. Ethel Muggs. Betty Cooper. No,
Nancy?
that's
Veronica and
the
Nancy?
person. That's the person. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was Veronica and who?
There's Veronica, Betty.
Betty. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Veronica and Betty. Yeah.
Betty Cooper.
Betty and Veronica. That's
Yeah.
right. It was Betty.
Yeah. Nancy Woods, Midge Clump. These are other ones. Ethel Muggs.
These are other people. Yeah, but they were not major people.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow we will have the U.S. Open in the trifecta. Okay, but no, we did not do an open fecta. We're doing it a little different since we missed the show yesterday because of the baseball. So tomorrow, be ready to tell us who's going to win the U.S. Open. It'll be part of our trifecta. In the meantime, Paul Feinbaum is next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
There are those among us when disaster